Hi, I am Samantha Hoke, and I will be talking about nutrition and poverty. So, in this presentation, I will be discussing the effect that poverty and an individual's income plays on their nutrition, and there have been different studies done around the world that support this claim and help look into the effect it plays on people's health. For example, the Baltimore study and the New York study. So, concentrated neighborhoods. Racial residential segregation can be a major cause of health disparities among racial groups because it can concentrate poverty into certain space. A study in Baltimore showed that neighborhoods with higher African American populations tend to have more liquor stores than neighborhoods of white populations. Segregation of neighborhoods can affect the relationship between poverty and nutrition among people. Socioeconomic status and health. People with higher incomes are known to have better health. People who live closer to grocery stores and have safe places to exercise are more likely to be healthier versus people who live farther from stores and have more crime in their area. Because when you have more crime, you can't necessarily just walk around your neighborhood. In low-income areas, there are more fast food restaurants present, which contribute to an unhealthy diet. Race and the relationship between poverty and nutrition. When we look at race in correlation to poverty and nutrition, we see a different story start to play out. For many decades, we have seen a difference in health based on different racial groups. People in different neighborhoods play a role in this. When someone lives in a disadvantaged neighborhood, they have higher incidences of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, tuberculosis, infant mortality, and hypertension. So the New York study. The New York study compared East Harlem to the Upper East Side. East Harlem is 6% white, while the Upper East Side is 84% white. East Harlem has the highest prevalence of diabetes and obesity, while the Upper East Side has the lowest. The researchers of the study started to look at the grocery stores in their neighborhoods and what kinds of food they carry. They looked to see if they carried the certain foods. Those foods include diet soda, high-fiber bread, fresh fruit, and fresh vegetables. They found that the Upper East Side stores were 3 times as likely to carry the recommended food items than the East Harlem stores. This is just one place that is like this when the lack of nutritional food in disadvantaged neighborhoods is a huge problem in the nation. Income and undernourishment. So 4 different income levels were taken into account when looking at this one study. The lower income, which is below RS 100 per month. The lower middle, which is RS 100 to RS 199 per month. And the middle, which is RS 200, RS 299 per month. And finally the upper, which is RS 300 and above per month. The income and undernourishment, they looked at these levels to see that the higher income levels, the percentage of the people below the required nutrient level lessened. The lower income a person has, the more likely they will be to cross that undernourishment line. It is shown that an increase in income levels reduced the number of people with insufficient calorie levels from 64% to 44%. And in this table, this shows the nutrient levels by the income levels. So as you can see, they have the lower, middle, higher, and then finally the total. So this can also be broken down into rural and urban, and then rural and urban combined. It shows the nutrients such as protein, calories, calcium, iron, and so on. Food preference is a luxury. High-income people can afford to choose what type of food they consume. As seen in other slides, people with high incomes have healthier choices to choose from in their grocery stores. Low-income people are stuck with cheap and unhealthy foods in their stores. And there's a quote from one of the articles that says, "To enjoy variety is a legitimate desire of the poor." So since the poor people didn't have as much accessibility to these healthier stores, they have that desire to consume them because they don't have them ready for them. So does the government help? There are programs available by the state and the federal government to help low-income families afford food. And while these programs help some families, there are also only some grocery stores that accept them. And even if some of these grocery stores do accept them, it's an obstacle to actually get to the store that does. So, for example, in certain neighborhoods, there might not be one that accepts these programs close to them. Therefore, they have to figure out how to get to that store. And for some, That might be public transportation or anything of that sort. So in conclusion, we can see that the level of income a family has plays a part in the nutrition of a person. Race can also play a part in the way that it can determine the neighborhood in which a family can live in, which in turn affects their health. And these are my references.